Okay, so a question I usually get asked a lot is what is your preference? And it usually goes one of two ways. So, what do you like in a man? Well, he should be tall, he should have a nice smile, he should be fun. No, 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 no. I mean, what is he? Well, funny, smart, athletic? No, no, no. Like, what is he? Is he black? White? Hispanic? Um, I don't know. It's not really a big issue for me. Well, I see you with some big black guy. Option two. So, what is your preference? No, no, no. You're gonna marry a white guy. I just know. Don't even try to argue. You're gonna marry a white guy. So, yeah. So that's how it's been for most of my life. Like since I was 10. People either assumed I'm gonna be with a white guy, usually my black friends, or or yeah, my black friends usually assume I'm gonna be with a white guy, and my non-black friends usually assume that I'm gonna be with a big black guy. Exact words every time, big black guy. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I hate that question with a passion because me being who I am, I judge everybody on an individual basis. To me, race doesn't really affect who the individual is, like, or how I view the individual. Until you've wronged me, I'm gonna have an open mind when it comes to you. I mean, in junior high, a guy I liked, he was Arab. I mean, Arabs were involved with the slave trade, but him being Arab didn't affect me liking him because he himself had never done anything to hurt me, or he was always nice to me. So, yeah. And like I've dated white guys. Yep, they were involved in slavery. Yeah, there's the KKK, but they've never done anything before we dated to hurt me. So, yeah. I don't know. To me, I just hate that question because it's lumping people into categories, and when you do that, or then there's certain connotations that come with that category. Now, I don't know. What do I like in a guy? I prefer tall guys, but I've dated short guys. Height, it's not really a big deal. I mean, preference. That's exactly what it means. What do you prefer? But yeah, like, to me, it's more what the person is on the inside. Like, are they smart? Can they hold a conversation? Do we have something in common? That's basically it. You like me? I like you? Great! That's essentially it. But yeah, but now that I've been thinking about it, now as I've gotten older, like I'm not going to discriminate when it comes to a relationship. I'm going to give everybody a chance. But now I've started to think about things like marriage, which is completely different. Why is that different, you may ask? It's because if I'm going to spend time with somebody, in the long run, I need to know that we're on the same page, we're on the same level, in the sense that it's hard for a black person to relate to a white person on a deeper level simply because we won't understand their struggle just like they won't understand ours. Like, a white person may look at me and be like, why are you complaining about racism? It's not that bad. What's the big deal? It's not like we're lynching you guys or we're, hanging you from trees, or you can go to our schools. Like, that's how they may view racism, right? And on the same hand, a black person might be like, what are you complaining about racism for? Who is racist against you? I mean, you are oppressing everyone, and yeah. I mean, what did anybody ever do to you? Like, can you see both sides here? Like, we just never are never gonna understand. Like, we may look at a white person and see, like, okay, well, why are they being sensitive about racism? We experience racism every day, but they may think, like, well, why do I, as a white person, have to take on this burden? Like, why is being white, like, I didn't ask to be white. I didn't do anything to you. Like, I feel bad for you, but, like, why do you have to hate me for it? Or why is there just this evil connotation with the word white? Just like a black person is like, why are you stereotyping me? Why are you lumping me in this category? So it's the difference between sympathy and empathy. Like, for example, if you've been raped, you can go for some counseling, sit with a psychiatrist, but at the end of the day, they can never tell you what it feels like to be raped. They never experienced it. They can be supportive all they like, but I think it would mean more, at least to me, if somebody was empathetic, if they could share my pain. So, yeah. Which leads me to, I was in a relationship with this one guy, or he liked me or something like that, and he said the stupidest thing, like, you're the whitest black person I know. And I'm like, what exactly do you mean by that? And he's just like, well, you're calm, you're articulate, and you're quiet. And I'm like, so what are you trying to say? And he's just like, well, those are all good things. Why are you getting so mad? And I'm like, you've just offended or insulted my entire race. You've put a negative connotation towards the word black, and something, suddenly being white is something to strive towards, or something good, worthy of honor. And he's just like, well, but it's true. Like, look at your cousins, look at your mom. And I'm like, you meet somebody for 2 seconds and already you've judged them like that? Like, okay, let's take for example, like, what if these are our kids? If this is how you view all black people, what about our kids? They're gonna be half black. And he's like, well, we wouldn't raise them like that. And I was like, so you mean they're not gonna see their family? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, yeah, because we wouldn't want them to be like that. And I'm like, so what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? You're gonna pass your hatred onto our children? Essentially what you're trying to say, that you want them to eliminate their black side? And he's just like, no, no, no. And I'm like, and that's the thing. And then another time, he was talking about how his one friend, this white guy, has a friend, and it's a black guy, and the black guy was making fun of this new immigrant to Canada, and he's like, oh, look at that dark monkey, like, look at the way he eats his banana, like, I'm like, and he's just like, yeah, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, how can you talk about his own race like that? And I was like, what part of that is funny? Like, what part of that is funny? And then, basically, he went on defending this guy and his self-hate issues. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. He's not a bad guy. He doesn't have emotional problems. You can't analyze him like that, psychoanalyze him like that. And I'm like, just being black and dealing with things like this on a regular basis, I can tell you that this guy has self-hate issues. That isn't normal, especially if he's dark himself and he's making fun of a dark person. And basically, one of the terms he used, it was a derogatory slur that a white person would use. Like, I don't know many black people who use like some of these terms, and he's just like, well, so? I'm like, see, that's the thing. I could never be with someone like that, because that would always be at the back of my mind. Especially because, like, my mom, like, she wouldn't have an issue with me marrying interracially, but she's always said, like, be careful, because some guys, they may love you, they may genuinely love you, but at the end of the day, every other black person is still going to be a nigger, even your family. So I was like, no, 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 you're wrong, but he just proved that. He just proved that. And that's not the first time. So that's why I would question ever marrying outside of my race. It's like, cause are they truly gonna, one, understand the struggle? Two, it's like, how are they gonna treat our children, my family? And three, how are they just gonna treat other black people? Like, am I the exception? The only one they like? Like, I don't know. That's just me personally. I'm not against interracial dating so long as the child gets to keep both aspects of their heritage. Like, they have their black side and whatever else they might be mixed with, their white side and whatever else they might be mixed with. Because a lot of the times I see that biracials have to choose, or they have parents who don't know how to take care of that. Like, a common example is like black men with white women. Like, I'm not saying that it's wrong that they shouldn't be together, but what I'm saying is, like, when you see white women relaxing their kids' hair because they don't know how to deal with their hair texture, instead of going and finding a girl, like, it's not that expensive, go find a black girl to do your kid's hair, or learn how to do your kid's hair instead of putting chemicals on your child's head, or making it so that your child can't associate with people of the other race. That is what I'm against. I mean, if you're half white, half Asian, make sure you send your kid to Chinese school if they're Chinese. Like, make sure they have their language. Make sure they're able to write in their language. Like, just like if they were half Chinese or half Ukrainian, if they want to, make sure that kid's in Ukrainian dance or something. Make sure they have a chance to have Chinese food and pierogies and whatever else Ukrainians eat. I mean, they eat a lot of food. I'm just saying I'm not familiar with their cuisine, so I can't talk about it. But yeah, that's how I feel about dating, and that's how I feel about the whole preferences question. I've answered it once and for all. Yeah. But let me know what you guys think. What is your preference?